Hello guys, how are we doing? Are you looking to increase the chances of beating cheaters in MW2 ranked play and maybe MW3 if it comes to it, if they don't fix their game? This video is for you. We're going to be going through a bunch of tips and tricks which will help you increase your chances of beating cheaters, as I say, in ranked play. But before we get into it, the gameplay you've got here is actually against a cheater, and he's walling, he's aimbotting. Eventually, well, he's just walling at the start, and then he turns on aimbot because he thinks me and another teammate are cheating. And there's using a little love message at the end of the video where he says, well, your two teammates are cheating, so why would I not cheat? So obviously we're not cheating. I don't play with cheaters. So this guy's just terrible at the game and decides that he needs cheats to slightly win. But he doesn't even get that. We actually do beat him in this gameplay, and as I say, we're going to be going through how we did that and give you tips and tricks into how you can do the same. So first things first is 4 stacking. Now this probably is the most obvious one, but essentially the more people you've got in your party when playing against a cheater, the better. You can communicate properly, you can isolate where the cheater is, and you can generally work towards the same objective without people being, going stray and whatnot. So yeah, 4 stack is best. Obviously, if you're playing a 4 stack of cheaters, chances are you're not ever going to win a game because they're cheating, and even if you are about to win a game, they'll DDoS you, they'll get you out of the lobby, and you'll lose SR because the game will think you've rage quit. That's what's happened in the past. But yeah, this is more a video of if there's maybe 1 or 2 cheats on the team that you're playing against. And yeah, so the main point is the chances of you beating a hacker are greatly increased, if you are in a 4 stack. Now that leads nicely into my second tip, which is very good communication. The communication needs to be very concise. And when I say communication, obviously you're calling out in ranked play anyway, you're calling out where enemies are, but you really need to isolate where the hacker is. You want to make sure that every time, you see the hacker or you're coming against the hacker, you alert the team to where they are. It means that they can potentially avoid them or use their minds to, play cleverly around the cheater, not peeking, especially if they're like aimbotting. As soon as you peek against someone who's aimbotting, you're pretty much dead. So knowing where they are allows you to play carefully. And then you can also, this again leads into my next point, you can also use your tax stuns and frags to, damage them, slow them down, if you know where they are. So very good communication is key. Getting stressed isn't going to help anyone. At the end of the day, if you get stressed because there's a cheater in your game, you're probably not going to win because you're losing your head. So yeah, if you want to increase your chances of winning, cool down, chill out, try and keep comms to the best of your ability, and yeah, hopefully that'll help. The next thing is perhaps the biggest thing, especially on hardpoint. Obviously, it's very hard to beat a cheater in S&D, I've got to admit, because most of the gunfights are one-on-one, and if they knew where you are and they're aimbotting, it's really hard. But yeah, this goes for hardpoint specifically. Control the spawns perfectly. If you are rotating effectively, if you are blocking spawns and spawning them out, your chance of coming into gunfights that are unfavorable are really, so much less. So as you're seeing here, we rotated to that last hill almost perfectly. Someone was blocking the spawns on my team. When it got to about 20 to 30 seconds on P3, they left the spawns, they stopped the block, and they let them spawn behind, which meant that we then spawned at new. We get a decent initial time at new, and they're pretty much running into our gunshots here. Now, when you know where spawns are, you know where they're spawning, you can pretty much guarantee where they're coming from. Now, this is why players like myself and other really good players get, not I'm really good, but other decent players get accused of hacking, is because they know where their enemy team is spawning. And if you know where the enemy team is spawning, you know where to look, you can really guarantee gunfights being won, obviously in your favor. So knowing spawns for that purpose is also greatly beneficial. If you can, isolate where they're going to be coming from, you can get into a position where you're going to be dominant in that gunfight, and again, increase your chance of winning a gunfight. As I said briefly, I've briefly touched upon it, but saving your frag, saving your stuns, saving your semtexes until you know where the cheater is essential. As I say, when it comes to really good communication with the rest of your team, knowing where the cheater is, I just shit on him right there, by the way. I don't know how we managed to lose that gunfight, but we'll get into that. Knowing where the enemy player or the enemy cheater is, throw the stun, double team him, or her, I don't know. And it just, that you can then kill them, and then they've got the respawn timer, then they have to spawn in, which hopefully is in Narnia if you're controlling spawns effectively. And it just means that the interactions you will have to have with them without a stun or a nade is greatly reduced. Now, these small incremental steps will increase your chance of beating them. So you've got to sort of do them all as a combination, otherwise it probably won't work. Now, the next thing is, if they're aimbot, and this which is probably the case, if they are aimbotting, you don't want to peek. If you're on a hard point, stay down, don't peek, because what they're doing, all they're doing with aimbot, they're pre-aiming, waiting for you to peek. As soon as you peek ahead, you're dead. If they've got aimbot, stay down on the point, like the P4 hill, which is not quite this one, obviously P4. I don't know whether you saw it earlier on in the video. We just sat behind the rock. We knew they were coming from P2. Stay behind the rock and don't peek. As soon as you peek, you're dead. Then no one's on the hill. If you're on the hill, stay down. Get a trophy at your feet and just don't peek. That is the biggest tip to increase the time you get on the hill. But yeah, but what that does, it forces them to come out of their pre-aim, walk around to you. It delays their push to you, and it means that they're getting less hill time, and they're having to move. And if they've got aimbot and if they've got wall hacks, you're beating them if they have to ADS and then shoot. As long as your shots aren't terrible. Now, talking of shots, team shots. When you know where the cheater is and a player says he's weak, you need to, if you've got good communication and you can guarantee that the player the player that has just called them out as weak knows exactly where they are, and they've communicated to you well enough that you know where they are, you've got to chal it. While they're 1 or 2 bullets to kill, you've got to chal it, because you will kill them. Even if they've got aimbot, you will kill them quicker than they kill you, and you've got to utilize that info to your ability, to the best ability. And therefore, again, as I say, same with the Stemtexes and nades, they'll be out of the play because you've just killed them. They'll have to respawn, and then it's a fair 4v3, maybe a 3v3 if you get in the trade against the people who aren't cheating. And if you're the better team, you're going to win that anyway. So yeah, team shots are key. Trading the one shots, getting your team trades are an essential thing to be able to do. Next thing is going to be a bit bizarre. Look at this, by the way, unreal. I reported about a billion times, but nothing happened, obviously. Use a gun that kills faster than theirs. Now, in this game, the cheater we're talking about here, now if there's more than one, it's obviously a little bit more difficult, but the cheater we're talking about here is using an AR. Now, technically, the Vaznev kills much faster than the AR at obviously certain ranges. So what I'm trying to do is increase my chance of winning gunfights against the person who is cheating by playing really close range, playing with an SMG, making sure that I'm not missing my shots when I do have an SMG, and just really, essentially, if I'm shooting maybe a millisecond less than they are, a millisecond behind that they are, and we're both really accurate, I'm still going to kill them. Now, if they were using a Vaznev, I would do the opposite. I'd use a TAC 56 or another AR. Obviously, TAC 56 is the one to go to because it's the more powerful one. And then play my gunfights really long range. Chance of them beaming me off a heady with a Vaznev is really low, even with aimbot, just because of the recoil patterns. And the Vaznev is a P shooter at long range. This is the hill, by the way, where you're going to see me just lay down and just soak the time and wait for them to get to us. But yeah, use a gun that they're not using, so that when you can really control the gunfights and beat them in the ranges you want to beat them in. See, if I'm laying down here, for example, say he does chow and I know exactly where he is. If I'm playing my angles really tight and really close in, I'm going to be using a Vaz against an AR at really close range, and they're not really going to beat me. Now, the next thing, I think this is actually breaking into 10 tips, to be fair. Pre-firing. If you can hear where they're coming from, thankfully on this game, I mean, it's terrible I'm saying this, but against cheats on this game, it's good that there's no dead silence, because what it means is that you can hear exactly where they're coming from. Pre-aim, obviously, and pre-fire. If you know where they're coming from, pre-fire the hell out of it. If they challenge it, you're already shooting, you're probably going to win the gunfight, especially if you're using a gun that kills quicker at that range. Next thing I'm going to suggest, and this is the last tip I have for you guys, is probably a little bit schneid, it's a little bit frowned upon, but I don't mind it against a cheater: stair glitching. If you can control spawns, you saw a teammate do it in the middle of this game. If you can control spawns in a way in which you can know where they're coming from, find a set of stairs where they are between where you are, where the hill is, and where they're spawning, and lay down just so, just low enough so that you're using the top stairs, the dirtiest head glitch. They physically, even with aimbot, they will physically not be able to shoot you. That's why it's called a stair glitch, and that's why it's GA. That's why it's so frowned upon. It's because even though you can shoot them, even though you can see them clear as day, they physically can't even shoot you. So use those to the best of your ability. If you're not sure how to stair glitch, I can give you guys a little bit more info on that, so drop it in the comments if you need a little bit more help. But yeah, that's going to be it. That's the game. As I say, it's not a fantastic game out of myself. But yeah, you can see he drops 41 kills a minute in time. They got 90 points below us, so we were frying. We played really well as a team. And yeah, you'll see here at the very end of this, he accuses me and another teammate of cheating. So that's going to do it for the video. Hope you found it useful, and I hope you can hopefully utilize the tools I've given you here into MW3 if the worst case scenario happens. But yeah, that's going to be all from me. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao. You have 2 cheating. Right, apparently we're cheating. 2 of us are cheating, apparently, though, so it's fine.
I have to jump in a car.